Over the past decade, the tablet industry has seen quite the evolution. With Apple dominating the market, it's easy to overlook the innovative strides made by Samsung. Today we are diving into the battle of the mid-ranges, comparing the all-new 2024 Apple iPad Air with the M2 chip, by the way, to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9FE. And folks, things do get interesting, and we're going to dive in all of that in this video. But there is one thing that I do not want you to do. I don't want you to get blown away or sidetracked by some of the specs and performance of the iPad simply because user experience in general, right? User experience is rarely guided by one single spec. It's always about the comprehensive package being offered by the actual device. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Super excited to be back in the studio here and ready to cover these two mid-range tablets. And I want to start off with the all-new iPad Air here. So, what's new with this M2 iPad Air? Personally, I think that's a fair question to ask. And you may have asked yourself that question already. So, what's new about it? Well, for one, now it comes loaded with an M2 chip as opposed to the M1 from before. And as Apple likes to put it, it is now the most powerful iPad Air yet. Now, another fair follow-up question would be, well, what are you able to now do with this crazy newfound power that is loaded in this tablet? Well, the answer to that, and hold on to your hats now, is nothing. There is nothing that you can do with this iPad Air that you could not with the previous one. In fact, the truth is you will never be able to tap into all of that M2 power simply because the software is just not there. Look at it as buying and driving a mid-range Ferrari in a country where the speed limit, the enforced speed limit, is restricted to 25 miles per hour. Yeah. A little bit like that. Now, all of this doesn't necessarily mean that the best alternative is the Galaxy Tab S9FE. I mean, the poor thing has its own share of issues. This here Android tablet is loaded with Samsung's own Exynos 1380 chip. In terms of power, it's not even close to that of the M2 chipset found in the iPad Air. But hang on a second, that's just what you see on paper, right? The platform, in reality, the platform of the Tab S9FE here actually allows for you to be more flexible and do more despite the limited amount of power that that chip produces. And before we dig deep and get lost into those little details, let's do a quick side-by-side and see how it stacks up against the M2 iPad Air on paper, because again, user experience says something different. But on paper, let's take a look here. Starting off with the display, going back to the iPad Air here, it boasts an 11 inches Retina display, while unfortunately still pushing a 60 Hz refresh rate. Meanwhile, the S9FE here counters with a 10.9 inches IPS LCD supporting a buttery smooth 90 Hz. Okay, both of these tablets do offer fantastic visuals, and you're probably wondering which one truly shines. Well, although the S9FE here has a warmer and a brighter display, the iPad Air here actually presents much sharper images given that it has a higher resolution along with a higher PPI density. And remember that 60 Hz I just mentioned on the iPad? Well, it's almost as smooth as what you have on the S9FE here. It is very smooth. I found it, at least in my user experience, pretty smooth, very close to what you have with the S9FE here. Let's go ahead and hop onto performance now. Going back to the iPad here, under the hood, it flexes its muscles with, as I mentioned not too long ago, Apple's M2 chip, and it is accompanied with 8 gigs of RAM. In my experience using it so far, it's been lightning fast performing all tasks. Meanwhile, the S9FE sports Samsung's Exynos 1380 comboed with options of either 6 gigs or 8 gigs of RAM depending on the storage config you decide to go with. The FE here has been working pretty well for light to moderate tasks, but in the straight battle of the Silicon Titans though, the iPad Air here is much more powerful. However, and I cannot stress this enough, you may find yourself doing a bit more with the S9FE depending on what your needs are. You may find yourself doing more with the relatively less powerful S9FE than you would with the M2 Air here. As far as gaming goes, it's not even a comparison. Gaming is simply better on the iPad, and so is video editing and video rendering and all that good stuff. The Air here is a very focused tablet, and it will plow through any single-oriented task or project that you throw at it. The Tab S9FE overall is just a better tablet for admin tasks and also multitasking. So if you're looking for something that offers flexibility and can adapt to your way of working, the S9FE is the tablet to go for. It does support Samsung DeX, which is an advanced program or an advanced feature. To those of you not familiar, it's a very, very nice program that allows for you to be more productive and do more and be more flexible with your device by doing a number of things at the same time, and that is an underdeveloped feature on the iPad. Watching videos and movies is great on either tablet, but I would argue that it's a better user experience on the S9FE because of the aspect ratio that you have on this tablet, on that display that you see there. When you put both tablets side by side, you'll notice that the iPad has a slightly better display because images are slightly sharper, but still, the aspect ratio is off. And I also do want to emphasize that the display is nice on the S9FE. The reason I keep saying that the iPad is sharper is simply because when you put them side by side, you can notice that. Otherwise, just using the S9FE as is, it does present a pretty neat display along with that pretty nice aspect ratio when compared to the iPad. Both tablets do support styluses. The M2 iPad Air here will work with either the USB-C Apple Pencil or the new Apple Pencil Pro, which, might I add, is actually a pretty nice stylus. Lots of fancy things that you can actually do with it. There are two things that I want to add about the iPad Air here. It does not come with an Apple Pencil included. And the second thing is, if you purchase the pencil here, keep in mind that it's an active pencil, right? So it would need to be charged in order to work with your device. The S9FE also does support a stylus, and here, this is a Samsung S Pen. And unlike it is the case with the iPad, this one does come included in the box with the device. It is not an active pencil and does not need to be charged. So out of the box, it works immediately. It will offer a number of features that are built to make you more productive. You can take down notes, draw, have access to many fancy features as well. That said, you may be wondering, how much will all of this cost you, right? And I think this is a nice segue into the price of either one of these two devices here. The Apple iPad Air here will run you $600 for the base model with 128 gigs of non-expandable internal storage. So that's just the tablet. The Tab S9FE will normally run you $450 for the base, but currently it is priced at $400 for that base 128 gigs of internal storage, expandable, all right? So the internal storage here is expandable at up to 1 terabyte. Now back to the Air here, the USB-C Apple Pencil will run you $80 if you choose to go for that, and the Pro will run you $130 if you chose that instead. The S9FE, as I mentioned already, does include the stylus, so your total looks something like this when you compare both devices. Now let's go ahead and switch to cameras. Now, when it comes down to capturing life's moments, tablets are never the go-to devices, right? Generally, we reach for our phone, but still, the iPad Air here features a 12 megapixel wide-angle lens, while the Tab S9FE offers an 8 megapixel camera on the back, and they both can do 4K video. Now, in my opinion, the iPad camera does a slightly better job overall. By the way, it's great to see that Apple actually decided to place the 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens where it belongs, and I'm talking about the selfie camera. Now you have it on the long side of the tablet as opposed to where it used to be on the short end of the tablet. And on the Tab S9FE, you also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens there. Both cameras are actually, I would say, pretty close. Pretty good cameras for selfies and also, calling family members, video calling, video conferencing, all of that good stuff. Now let's go ahead and close out with battery. And you all know that in this section, it's all about the long game, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint. With a sizable battery, the Tab S9FE promises up to 20 hours of binge watching bliss if you want to be creative. It's also coupled with fast charge, right? So it does support fast charge at up to 45 watt. The iPad Air does not support fast charge, and battery here will last you up to 10 hours, according to Apple. Now, I think this is a good place to end this video, as I'm pretty sure some of you still are struggling with the decision of which one to choose, but don't feel bad. The whole iOS versus Android is a tale as old as time. The only way to truly figure out which ecosystem will reign supreme in your digital kingdom is to figure out what your needs are. Once you know what your needs are, it makes it easy for you to pull the trigger on either one of these two. I mean, it's clear that the iPad Air here is the better tablet, but is it the best fit for most people? Actually, I would argue that the S9FE here is the better fit for most people because of the value, the flexibility that it has to offer, and a lot more. But people look for tablets for a number of reasons. What are your reasons? Share those with me and the rest of the world in the comment section, and we could get that back and forth going. Anyways, there you have it, folks. The battle of the mid-ranges rages on, with the S9FE and the iPad Air here, each offering their own unique flavor to the world of tablets. Whether you are Team Apple or Team Samsung, one thing's for sure: there are many more battles like this one on the way. I appreciate you watching, and I'm certainly hoping that this was informative. Let me know what you think of this video in the comment section. Let me know what your questions. I'm gonna catch you in the comment section like I always do. Make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that subscribe button there. I truly appreciate that. Share the video if you know anyone who will be interested. I'm gonna catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.